We've only just had our council elections back in November last year, and there were quite a few councils that didn't get enough nominations to fill the quotas for those particular locations across not only metropolitan but also regional South Australia. So therefore they had to go to what we call a supplementary election, and those supplementary elections are actually going to be, they're under way at the moment. But now on top of that, the Electoral Commissioner advised me the other night, Wednesday night I think it was, that there are about 46 people that haven't fulfilled their documentation for the gift register. Now, that is for people who received donations or gifts above the amount of $500, or even if they have received no gifts, they've still got to put a nil return in. And unfortunately, there's the time frame that after the time frame, there's about 46 from roughly about 40 councils that haven't filled them in. So therefore, at this particular stage, the Electoral Commissioner is now communicating with the CEOs of each of those councils, and basically at the moment those councils are not in as elected members, so we now have a situation where we may have more supplementary elections going forward in the next 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because the Electoral Commission says, and I'm quoting the Commission, there is no discretion, quote unquote, for these councillors. So feasibly we could have to have up to 46 new supplementary elections, yep. Right?
Yes, and the issue with that is that the councils themselves pay for the Electoral Commission to actually undertake or control the elections on behalf of them across all of the state, and that's what the Local Government Association wanted some time ago. And the legislation was changed in 2021 to allow this to happen. But unfortunately, as you say, we've now got supplementary elections for councils who didn't get enough nominations in November. That's going to be a financial impost to those councils. And now there are some other councils, and including some councils that are already having a supplementary election, have another supplementary election back in another, say, 6 or 7 weeks' time. So some smaller councils have got the election in November, the supplementary council elections now in January, February, and another one in February, March.
Okay, now you're a former mayor. Listen, and I'm absolutely sure a lot of the councillors we're talking about made an honest mistake. There are lots of paperwork, especially after the election, that they just forgot. But having said that, how important is transparency for local government in councillors declaring these gifts above $600 they receive?
Oh, look, it's very, very important for transparency for our communities. We are in the state government, I'm an independent, but when I have to leading up into the election, I've got certain criteria to abide by under legislation. And then after the elections, during the election campaign, I had to report to the Electoral Commissioner about whatever gifts I may have had, which was nothing, quite frankly. But then after that, I have to put a final return in, and my final return said nil return, nil donations. So it's the same with councils. We have to have the transparency out there for our communities to ensure that the communities themselves can have full trust in local government across all of South Australia. But unfortunately, this has happened at the moment, and it's very frustrating. I'm very disappointed, and I'm very disappointed.
Yes, I can sense that. Minister, thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning. Please do. Can
I just say that there are some councils, they've got an opportunity to appeal to the SACAC, that's the South Australian Tribunal, which is independent of government, it's independent of the Electoral Commission, and the SACAC Commissioner will be able to make a decision. Now, they have to have a very good reason why they've overlooked that. If that Commissioner decides to say, oh, you had extreme circumstances, so therefore they may allow them to continue on. If not, that those particular people have to then go for another election. And unfortunately, some of these people there were 4 of their locations, and in my view and my information is they were 4 mayors, so it makes it even worse.
Gee, yeah, that takes it to the next level. Jeff Brock with the fan in the background. Do you know where these councils were before you go, when we're talking about the mayors? Yes,
no, well, I'm not going to put that on air. The Electoral Commissioner runs it. They're independent of everybody, and the Electoral Commissioner, Mick Sherry, is now talking to all the councils, the chief executives of those councils, to ensure that the elected members are aware of what's happening. But certainly, at the moment, I'm not going to make public comments about that, but it's on the Electoral Commission South Australia website, and people can go onto that if they want to have a look at it. But I'm not going to make those comments because of the privacy.
Yeah, I understand that. Listen, appreciate your time, Minister. Thank you so much.